into it. Alright, I don't have an intro at the moment because I'm kind of in a transitional period between the old stuff and the new stuff. I've got a new background with clouds and stuff, so that's cool. I've got some stars and stuff. It's been a while since I've done a stream, so I'm a little nervous. But yeah, alright, but everything seems to be working. There's no dropped frames. The upload seems to be fine. Okay, so basically what we have here is Octave, which is it's a what's it called? It's a game engine that can allegedly export to the GameCube, the Wii, and the 3DS. So I thought I'd give this a little spin. Let's see if I can make it a pinch bigger. There we are, something like this. Yeah, there's a tutorial I'm going to be following. The guy's got just one tutorial. This is a engine that's been made by what seems to be just one guy, and a pretty small one. So he's got like 2,500 subscribers on YouTube, and it looks alright. So I'd like to give this a little bit of a spin. See if we can get anything out of this. How viable is it? So yeah, and there's currently a game jam going on for this game engine. So yeah, so I've compiled this from source, which is something I don't usually do. I'm just used to opening Godot, the exe file, but with this, we've got Octave, and I compiled it from source. That's what was recommended since it's a work in progress. It's like, well, if there's a crash, you know, we're able to debug it, sort it out. So you know that's nice. What else? Okay, so yeah, you can click on stuff. And there doesn't seem to be a gizmo, but you can move stuff around like this. Oh, and move the light around so you can light up like the side of that. That's a cone. We've got a cube. You can change the position of that, and the cone seems to be attached to the cube. And we can move it forwards and backwards. So that's cool. You can kind of see the lighting on the other things. So it's got 3D stuff in there. Pretty cool. I'm just going to follow the tutorial and see how it goes. So I just thought, let's take a break from all the game dev stuff I've been doing over the past month or so, and just try something a little bit more hobbyish, and see if it's because it's either going to be fun or it's going to be a stressful pain. We'll have to see. But yeah, okay. So we've got a Flappy Bird tutorial here. Let's take a look.
Create SC default. Okay, great. Now it created a default root. I'm just going to change this just to call it like...
Alright, let me just make sure I'm understanding what's going on in this video. I'm going to move that over there, make sure there's enough room. It's crazy how I've got 4 screens and I still run out of space. It's crazy. But yeah, when you're streaming and you're watching a tutorial and you're working on the game and stuff all at the same time, it's a bit much. But yeah.
It will load that up. So let's just create SC default. Okay, great.
I'm gonna make sure I know exactly what I'm doing.
So I have that Flappy project, so I'm just gonna call this one make a new project. So you can hit file up here, the top left, go to new project.
Okay, brilliant.
And then you want to create a new folder. I already have that Flappy project, so I'm just gonna call this one flap.
All right, flap one.
Like that. Okay, we've created our new project.
Brilliant.
And first thing we should do is probably create a scene. So I'm just gonna hit file, new scene.
New scene.
I'll create an unsaved scene right here.
Mine says new on
Control S to save it. So I'll just call it SC default. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because this is gonna be the default scene that loads when you start the game.
Brilliant. I hope
the game engine will search to see if you have an SC default scene saved, and so
in the tutorial he's using caps, but I'm just using all lowercase, so we'll see how that goes.
Now it created a default root. I'm just going to change this just to call it like game, since this is going to be the root of our whole game essentially. And I'm going to press Control S again to save it. Okay, great. And now let's go create a scene for our bird. And so, by the way, scenes are just collection of nodes, and nodes are the building blocks of the game engine.
So just like Godot, brilliant.
So everything is pretty much a node, like a widget, a 2D widget, or a 3D mesh, or a particle system. Those are all nodes. So another way you can create a scene is in the assets panel down here. You can right click, go to create asset, and go to scene. You can give it a name. We'll call this one SC bird for our little bird friend. And you can right click and open. And so now you see we have two scenes.
Brilliant.
You can click to go between them. You can press X to close it. But yeah, let's create our bird. So for like any character in the game I'm working on, I always like having their simplified collision as the root of that scene. So like in this case, we have a bird, and I made him a very spherical shape, so we're going to use a sphere for that. So you can either right click up here and go spawn basic 3D and go to sphere. Another way you can do it is you can always hit Shift A if your mouse is in the viewport, or you can go world, spawn either node or spawn basic 3D. All different ways to spawn a node.
All right, cool.
So I'm going to rename the root node by right clicking, and it's going to call it bird. And he's already positioned at 0, 0, 0. Okay, good. And then let's create another node as a child, and this will be the mesh for the bird.
All right, if there's anything that needs to be added to this engine is double clicking on the text, and you can rename it that way. Can you do it with F2? Click F2. All right, F2 works, but if I double click on the text specifically, that would be a good way of activating the rename function as well. I'll take some notes. Give the developer some feedback. Huh? He probably won't have time to watch this entire thing. All right, so for renaming, how do I word this actually? And renaming on double click of text in a scene tree, I guess we would call this. And I would assume that would work for other things. So I add etc. in there as well. Okay, great. Okay, so let's see.
So I'm
Where were we?
Add node 3D, and then skeletal mesh 3D.
Skeletal mesh 3D, brilliant.
I'm just going to rename this mesh just to make it a little simpler. Okay, and if you're following along, you could just use a static mesh if you want, if you don't want to create a whole skeletal mesh, which can be an involved process if you're not used to it. But I already have a skeletal mesh, so I'm going to go ahead and import it. I'm going to go up. Oops, sorry. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it models.
Models, okay.
And I'll create a bird folder. And then I will go import my bird mesh. So let me go to my drive. Go to
I've already downloaded his Flappy Bird project, so I'm gonna hopefully nick it from him.
Version right here.
So just to make this a bit simpler.
Interject right here because I realized I never described how to export a skeletal mesh or a static mesh. So here I have my bird, and if I go to the armature animation, I'm using
I use Blender, so this will be useful as well.
Interpolated frames, and I think that's the easier method here. So if you just right click, select all of your keyframes, go to interpolation, go linear. That works best and makes the files smaller. But you actually can use the other modes like the cubic or the Bezier or quadratic. But just make sure that you sample them, and I'll show you that when we're actually in the export step.
Sampler.
The animations, you also want to make sure that they're listed in the nonlinear animation editor under the armature. So
brilliant.
If you have a animation selected on your armature, you can hit the push down button right here, and that will add it to the list. And usually I just name it and I unselect this checkbox so it doesn't all overlap inside Blender. And now when you want to actually export your model, you select your armature and you select your mesh, and make sure there's actually only one mesh and one material slot. That's a limitation of the engine right now. Sorry about that. Hopefully in the future we can streamline it. But have those selected, go File, Export, and then you want to go to GLTF. Make sure it says
brilliant.
GLB here. I always remember the export settings for next time because that's convenient. Have your selected objects checked. You want Y up. On your mesh, you probably want to apply modifiers. And under animation, where is it? Skinning. Oh, animation. Here we go. Under animation,
I may want to come back to
you
this
want
when I actually
to
try making a game for real.
disable sampling animations if you're using linear keyframes. But if you're using anything else, you probably want to sample them, and you want to set something reasonable. I mean, 1 is fine for like short animations, but they will be a little bit bigger file size wise. And
Gotta keep it small for the hardware, huh? Sure.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm used
Now
to thinking
for
in those terms
static
generally.
meshes, you want to select your mesh. Again, only one material per mesh. You just want to go to export collada for static meshes. You do selection. You want to apply a global orientation, and you want to do -z forward, y up, and probably want to apply modifiers. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think you can remember these export settings for next time, but yeah, it's not too much here. So, okay, back to the tutorial.
All right, crispy.
And then I also want to get a texture for the bird. So, by the way, for skeletal meshes, you want to make sure they're the .glb format, which is a GLTF format. And for textures, they need to be .png. So tbird is a PNG. If you want to inspect an asset, you can hold Control and click on it, and that will bring it up in the the properties menu on the right. You can also just right-click and go properties. That also works.
I can't find any GLB
the
files.
Texture selected, I'm going to import. Or sorry, not import. I'm going to right-click and go create asset, material light. So light materials, I should say, are the most basic materials, and they work on all platforms, like on GameCube, Wii, 3DS. So these are, especially for retro stuff, these are the materials you want to use. The other ones require Vulkan. So let's do material light, and we'll call it mbird. And if you had that tbird selected already, then it will by default put that texture as the first texture on the material, which is great. So if you want to save your asset, you can right click and go save, or you can hold shift and press S while your mouse is in the assets window. That will also save it. And let's also go to our skeletal mesh. And we want to switch this guy's material so that it uses our mbird that we just created. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the mbird, and then you're going to click this button right here next to the material property. If you click that, it will transfer whatever you have selected in the assets panel over to that property. Okay, so that's looking good. Make sure you save your skeletal mesh so that the default material stays on it.
And all right, how do I import stuff? I've just dragged and dropped it into the folder and it's not appearing. So, mbird. This is a bit confusing to navigate, isn't it? All right. Whoa. Where are we going? Where are we going? Flap. You only click it once to go into it? Alright, I guess he hasn't got it to where it's like a tree or whatever just yet. Okay, models. mbird. So there's SEbird, then there's the models.
And now let's go back over here into the scene, click on the mesh.
Mesh.
And let's go down until we find the skeletal mesh property. You can also collapse these little headers here. So if we just want to see the mesh properties, collapse all the rest. And then we have our SK bird selected. So let's hit this button to transfer it. Hey, there he is.
Let's watch this
SK
again.
bird selected. So let's hit this button to transfer it. Hey, there he is.
I see, so you gotta click it in the asset browser and then press that button. Well, that's a bit confusing. I don't know, try click and drag or something. That would be cool, but yeah. I guess this kind of makes sense. A lot of it's quite rudimentary, as you can see, this engine. So yeah. But yeah, it's kind of what you expect when it's like early days of an engine, or early years, perhaps one could say. Okay, skeletal mesh. so what am I supposed to do here? Okay, wireframe, collision. Okay, how do I refresh it so that it detects it? Am I gonna have to... Okay, how do I save everything? I assume it's all saved already. Should I just restart it? I don't know. I'm gonna pop all the assets in here, just so there's no oversights. Okay, textures. Let's go to textures and pop that in there as well. And sounds. Anything else in models that I should be aware of? Embed. I've already got embed. I'm working on that. Okay, right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and... Is there an exit button here? They haven't added one. Okay, how about if I just try reopening the project? Okay, there we are. There we are. Brilliant. Okay. There we are. Didn't have to close it and open it again. Okay. So yeah, you can... If I double click it here, I would like it to open the actual scene. Okay. And open a scene on double click of non-text area in asset browser. There we are. Oh, goodness me. I think this screen's going to look quite blank for a while. Okay. Open. Because that would be cool too. And giving them icons as well would be pretty cool. I think as a placeholder, you could just have like a circle or something. And maybe based on their file type or their metadata or something, you could make it something a bit more descriptive. Or for textures, you could have thumbnails and stuff. That would be cool. But yeah, that's all time spent making stuff happen. Very well. Let's keep going. SE Bird. Okay, I've got to open this SE Bird thing. Open scene. Brilliant. Okay. SE default. Let's open that as well. Okay, brilliant. Can I? Yeah, I can shuffle them around. That's good. Good design. All right. SE Bird. Mesh. If I go to models, SC Bird, will it work? Yeah, okay. It's the exact size of the default collision size. Brilliant. All right, that's good design right there. Okay. So there's the bird. I think this thing needs a texture. All right, I think he just covered textures a little while ago. So if I go to textures, material. Okay, brilliant. So it's just the same as before. I press that and I press this. No? Is that not the right? Is that it? Mbird. Okay. Well, maybe I need to go into Mbird and update that as well. Texture, T-Bird. Pop that in there. Okay, yes, there we are. Okay, figured that out. Fantastic. Let's save all that stuff. Okay, can I want to save those as well. Save. Alright, yeah. So you gotta save each individual thing one by one. So yeah, here's the thing with the with I guess assets that aren't scenes. So like textures and skeletons and stuff. You gotta go into properties and the saves up here. So at least there's an asterisk there showing me that it's not saved. So a little bit of a save gap there. That's good. All right, so I'm up to speed now.
Yes.
Good.
So I'm going to save the scene now. You can hit Control S.
You know, for the sake of the stream, maybe I might be able to get the actual tutorial displaying on there. That'd be quite all right. Let's see if I can do that real quick. Is there anything else I need to sort out real quick? I think that should be fine. I'm just gonna go over here. Actually, where am I gonna go? if I go over here, I go to this window, and I should be able to share it in this way. Sorry, I'm a little bit disorganized today. It's just I want to do this stream, and I'd rather not do it. Rather do it than not do it. And even if it's a bit last minute or whatever, I'll get back into the flow of things later. Okay, window capture 5. Let's choose the Brave window. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. So that's the actual tutorial right there. How do I crop it again? Yeah, hold Alt. That's how it works. There we are. Make it nice and neat. As long as I don't resize that, we should be good. Fantastic. So people can kind of see what the tutorial is saying a little bit more. And now that's in front of the watermark. There we are. Okay, brilliant. I don't like doing stuff like that on the fly. I like to be prepared, but oh well. Okay, anyways, back to the tutorial. Let's go.
And that will capture whatever you have in your window as into that scene file.
Look at those croc style eyes.
And before we go any farther,
but with more vertices,
I'm just going to go over some of the viewport controls. So
anything I don't know?
Right now it's kind of hard to see where we are because we only have one object in the scene. You can hit Control G to open up to spawn.
Brilliant. Yes, a grid.
Also hit View Grid to toggle that.
View Grid. Crispy.
If you have something selected,
I want to add icons to those drop-down menus.
You can, actually, before I do that, you can hold right-click to move your camera. You can use WASD to move around. E and Q will go up and down.
Brilliant.
You can hit F to focus on whatever object you have selected. The mouse wheel will zoom in and out. If you hold down the mouse wheel button, you can orbit whatever you have focused. And if you hold Shift down and hold middle mouse button down, you can pan the camera. And then if I orbit, I'm in a different focus position now. So you can hit F to return back to whatever you have selected. There are some other hotkeys for going to the the side views. So if you hit 1, it will show you the front view. 3 on the numpad will take you to the side view. 7 will give you a top view. And if you hold Control down while you press those buttons, so Control 1 will give you a back view. Control 3 gives you the other side, and Control 7 will give you a bottom view.
That doesn't seem to work for me.
So these are actually the same hotkeys as Blender, and most of my hotkeys in this engine are the same as Blender. So if you know those, it will probably help you. If you hit 5 on the numpad, that'll toggle between orthographic and perspective.
All right, Control and the numbers seem to change this parameter, the scene something, rather than the orientations. Paint colors, what's that? Don't know. Okay, so yeah, just pressing the numbers doesn't seem to do anything. I don't think clicking on something changes that. So yeah, that's strange. What about the numpad? Or is it the numpad specifically? Am I being dumb? All right, enable numlock. Oh, now it's doing something. Okay. Okay, it's the numpad numbers. The top numbers don't work that way. All right, 0 is the back. 3 is that. Okay, I press 2, nothing happens. Okay, this is weird. It's a little inconsistent. Let's go back to 3D. Is that what needs to happen? Okay, this is weird. Is something moving? Oh geez, the bird is moved. Okay, it's got undo's brilliant. Okay, well done. If I unclick it. Okay, 0, 3, 2 doesn't do anything, 1 does this. 0, 4, 5, 6, 5 gives me front view by the look of it. 0 is this, 3 is that, 1 is that. Wait, 1? Yeah. 1 and 0 do the same thing. Weird. 7 is the top. Okay, this is strange. I'm not sure if it's supposed to do that. I don't know. I'm just gonna roll back real quick to make sure I understand it correctly.
It will show you where you have selected. There are some other hotkeys for going to the the side views. So if you hit 1, it will show you the front view. 3 on the numpad will take you to the side view.
Okay.
7 will give you a top view. And if you hold Control down while you press those buttons, so Control 1 will give you a back view.
Okay,
Control
now,
3 gives you the other side.
now 7 isn't
Control 7
working.
will give
Weird.
you a bottom view. So these are actually the same hotkeys as Blender, and most of my hotkeys in this engine are the same as Blender. So if you know those, it will probably help you. If you hit 5 on the numpad, that'll toggle between orthographic and
Oh,
perspective.
great. Now the mouse is gone. No. All right. Weird.
And yeah, now let's talk about how to actually move objects and stuff and transform them. So if you click on an object, or a node, I should say, and hit the G key, you can move it around in your view plane, that is. If you want to move it around along a specific axis, you can.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to make notes of viewport buttons numpad seem inconsistent. Okay, so what 0, 1, 3, 7, that stuff was working at one point, but now I press 7. Oh, did I turn off the numlock? Okay, I turned off the numlock, so maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, it's a little bit... It seems to keep the offset you have for it. Maybe that's intentional, maybe it isn't. Is this really what Blender does? Really strange, but okay. If it's the same as Blender, then it's fine, probably. Alright. Seem consistent. Okay, nah, it's just me. And numlock turned off by accident. Oopsie. Seems to have an offset. Alright. Offset, is that intentional? Okay, cool. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna spend too much time writing my notes.
Hit X while you are moving it, and that will lock it to the X-axis. You can do the same thing for the Y or the Z-axis.
Brilliant.
And if you right-click during this time, it will abort the operation and set the transform back to whatever it was before.
All right.
If you...
Could we have escape as well? That'll be really useful. All right, press escape to back out of transform with G. All right. It would be cool to have a gizmo at some stage because it's a little bit more intuitive. It's like, okay, the gizmo, it moves it in that direction. You just use the mouse. And you're going to use the mouse anyway to move it. But yeah, I'm not much of a Blender guy the way some people are, where they know all the keyboard shortcuts. Going full Davis Aurini, they are. Or whatever the guy's name is. The guy, like, 10 years ago who's like, oh yeah, let's... I know all the keyboard shortcuts. I'm a professional video editor. Oh man, was that the guy? I can't remember. But whatever, let's go.
Left click, it will lock in the transformation. And at this point, you can hit Control Z to undo your actions, and Control Shift Z to redo them. So that was grab, and then R is for rotate. If you just hit R,
Brilliant.
you can rotate it your node along the your view axis.
Brilliant.
If you hit X, it'll lock to X, Y, Y, and Z, Z.
Do a
So
somersault.
similarly, for scale.
All range
works for
mode.
that.
Do a barrel roll. Or an aileron roll.
Just like Blender. And if you hit X, you can scale along the X axis, Y, and Z.
Scaling,
but just
brilliant.
for the record, you probably shouldn't use uniform, or you probably shouldn't use non-uniform scaling as often
Concord.
as you can. Like, it's just a bad idea usually. Sometimes it's fine, but the engine enforces that if whatever node you're transforming or you're scaling, if that has a child, then the parent needs to have a uniform scale. So it won't matter if you set it to something non-uniform; it will just become uniform and only use the X component on the scale. Anyway.
So child nodes
I think that's pretty much all
can
I want
only
to
be
talk about
uniformly scaled. All right.
Oh, also, if you hit Control D, you can duplicate a node, and all nodes with the same parent need to have unique names. So it tacked on a 2 at the end of the mesh. So whenever you create a new duplicate, it'll just slightly rename it so it keeps everything unique. Oh yeah, and also when you duplicate, it will automatically go into a translation mode or grab mode as if you hit the G key.
Just taking notes.
But you can hit
Brilliant.
delete to delete a node.
All right, let's catch up. Delete.
And,
brilliant. And we can do this as well while.
Oh yeah, something else is that there is some lighting on the model right now, and there's no lights in our scene right now, but it will use preview lighting by default. And if you want to turn that off, you can hit view and then preview lighting. And now it's completely unlit. As soon as you add a light to the scene, then preview lighting would be disabled anyway. But if you don't have a light in the scene, then a preview light will be shown by default. Okay,
nice
so
and simple, isn't it?
Press Control S to save our bird scene for now. And then now let's go back to the default scene and let's instantiate one of the birds. Let's instantiate the bird scene into our SC default scene. So let me go back up to our scenes, and I'm going to right click on SC bird and click instantiate, and there he is.
SC bird, all
So
right. Instantiate.
1 to go into the front view. And I want to rotate this guy so he's looking towards the right. So if I could hit R and Y to rotate him. But I want it to be exact, so I'm going to go over here onto the rotation property and just set its Y value to 90. Perfect.
All right, hang on. Rotation value. Okay, that's under 3D. Brilliant. Okay. Rotation. Yeah. Let's get it exact. Getting things exact is my favorite thing to do. Okay. So now we've got the birds facing the right way.
I'll
Brilliant.
drag them over to the left a little bit.
I'm going to speed up this tutorial a little bit so that saves a bit of time.
Okay. You know what? That's good for now. So, oh yeah, and as you can see up here, because the bird is a scene, this node is what I call scene linked. And basically any changes to the SC bird scene will be reflected onto this node in our SC.
All right, something I'm noting is in the tutorial, bird is just displayed on its own, but in my one, it's got a drop down for its sub things. I'm not sure if I've done anything wrong at all, but I don't know, it might be a version thing.
It has something overridden.
This tutorial is like a year old, I realize, so there might be a few small things, but I hope we'll have to see if this works out in the end.
The top node level. So for instance, if you change the sphere radius here or something about the physics, then that would, or like its name, those properties will override whatever's in the scene, but everything else will be updated. So like if, for instance, if I change the mesh scale and then save the scene, in the default scene, the mesh will be big also. So I'm going to undo that. Well, I can't undo it because I switched scenes, but I'll set the scale back to 1 and save it. Okay, now he's back at a normal scale over here. But for instance, I could change the name to like beep boop, and you know that's okay. If we change the this bird name to bird test and save that, this guy is still named beep boop because we overrode his name on the top level node.
Crispy.
So. Anyway, I don't want that though, so let's change bird test back to bird.
Yeah, it's just
save that.
Good inheritance stuff.
Back to
nicely done.
bird. Okay, great. So now we're going to make a script for the bird so we can apply gravity.
Change the name here
so that we can like press spacebar or click to make him do a little flap and go upward.
Oh yeah.
So for that, I am going to first open up Visual Studio Code, which I like using for my scripting because it has Lua syntax highlighting. So.
Visual Studio Code. I just uninstalled that. All right. I'm gonna have to go ahead and get Visual Studio Code up then. All right, Visual Studio Code, because yeah, it's like I've got Visual Studio Community running from source, the actual engine, but what about the actual coding for the actual game that we're gonna be working on? Yeah, I guess Octave doesn't have a built-in. What's going on here? It's being a bit funny, is it? Okay, let's just go in Visual Studio Code. I hope there's no particular needed things required. So I believe we're going to be using Lua. What's that? Why is that displaying like that? Oh, that's the tutorial. All right, cool. Okay, launch Visual Studio Code. Brilliant. So let's see what he does. Okay, I assume he's just going to open the folder.
Cool, let's open a folder.
Open folder, brilliant.
Projects, go to flap, and let's open up the top level folder. And you'll have a scripts folder that gets created when you create a new project. So you can right click there and go new file, and we'll add bird.lua.
Bird.lua, brilliant.
That your script names are unique. You should have 2 scripts that have the same name, like 2 bird luas, even if they're in different subdirectories. And then also, for every script, you need to make a table that has the same exact name. So we'll start off by doing bird equals empty table. And if you don't know Lua, or if you've never used Lua before, you might want to brush up a little bit and read through some tutorials first. But hopefully I can explain most of the stuff I'm going to be doing. But in the script, we're going to create a meta table, or like a parent table, that any instance of the script that you create will have its meta table set to.
Great. I'm in the just doing stage, huh?
But basically, this is like a class definition. So now I'm going to go over a few different functions you can create on your scripts that the engine will call. So this gives you the chance to execute your own logic and math and things like that. So the very first function that is very important is the create function. And
great, brilliant.
This gets called as soon as your script gets instantiated on a node. And this happens even in the editor. So even in the editor, this gets called no matter what. Right now, we won't.
This is like the ready event or something.
The next thing that happens during gameplay is the start. So this function gets called, I believe it's on the first frame that your node would tick, essentially. And this gets called once. And at this point, you can do some setup stuff. You can query the world and find other actors. This is generally a safe place that you want to do like a lot of initialization stuff.
All right. How do you comment in Lua?
And then after that, you'll be getting your tick function called every frame.
Am I doing it correctly?
A delta time parameter. And you can use that
function,
for smooth movement or animation.
Bird,
and just be aware that this gets called every frame. So if
delta.
You do a lot of heavy stuff,
brilliant step event / process event.
But
wonderful.
You're supposed to use tick, and I use it all the time, so don't worry about it. Just beware. And then last one I want to talk about is stop. Yeah, and this gets called when your node is being destroyed. So you have a chance to handle anything that needs to get cleaned up there. Okay, so we have these functions. I'm not sure if we'll use all of them yet. But first, let's create some variables. So
I'm going to quickly look up how you do commenting in Lua, just so I know I'm doing it right.
Just a floating point value, because all we really care about is the y velocity. That's all that's going to be.
Lua comments are used to add no explanation code, blah blah blah.
Use a floating point value.
2 hyphens, well, multiple lines are closed between double dash and square brackets.
Use a lot in my engine.
All right, let me try that.
Primitive type. So if I do.
Wonderful. That looks correct.
Velocity equals.
Comments are always green.
This is going to create a new vector, and it's going to be initialized with all zeros.
All right.
You could also pass in values here for x, y, z, and w.
Self.velocity. Brilliant.
But since we don't really care and we just want them all to be 0,
equals
we'll just leave it as is. Then we can also give it a gravity value.
It's just a vec with brackets? Good God.
Over time.
Not vec 2 or 3 or something a bit more specific. All right, gravity value. Brilliant.
Might not be physically realistic, but
gravity equals minus 50. Is that all?
For one more variable to add, we want to basically get like a jump speed. Like whenever you press the spacebar or click, how much velocity should the bird gain? So I'll call it flap speed y, and we'll set that equal to 30.
Self
and
dot.
Then on tick, we want to use these variables.
Speed, so basically jump speed.
Velocity.
Brilliant.
So,
okay. Well, I'm familiar with that. Brilliant.
Just do gravity. Take gravity. So we'll take the velocity of the bird.
Self dot velocity.
Take its y component.
Dot y. Self dot velocity.
The gravity times the
dot
change in time.
I hope I don't make a mistake, because that would be embarrassing. But whatever. I probably will.
It will make the y velocity go negative, and the bird will fall.
All right. Yeah.
And then after that, we also.
He does a comment there. Brilliant. I fly.
Spacebar or click or just the A button, I guess, if you're on a gamepad, which this is technically for a GameCube game, so we definitely want to handle that. But there's in order to handle input, you can use the input table, which will always be available in your scripts. And you can do is key pressed key dot space, for instance, or is gamepad pressed. Gamepad.a. Or maybe you're playing with a mouse, so you can do input.is mouse pressed.
That was pretty cool, actually. I like the syntax.
And
it's
by the
a
way,
cool
you have to put it
style.
after your if statement, so don't forget to do that. And you have to end the if with an end statement. Oh, did I mess something up?
Gamepad A, wonderful. All right, or input dot is.
It is indenting more than it should be.
Did that not work? Input.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Is
then anyway,
mouse press.
Inside this if statement, we want to adjust the y velocity
dot left.
and make it go upward. So let's do self.velocity.
Well, heck of a stream, isn't it? It's just like a guy watching a tutorial. There's so much going on.
Speed. So here,
tiny tutorial, big scripting. So
we hit the space bar.
Self.velocity. So it just flat out sets it, right? Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
Self
and then now that we've adjusted
flat
speed
velocity. So it's got a reference to self. All right, well, that's quite discreet. Okay, fair play. All right.
Now we want to actually do the movement to move the sphere node that is the top level node on the bird.
Well, it doesn't update velocity, it's more like a jump, right? If input, do this.
We need to update position.
Pressed.
So we'll find its new position, but it's
is that for just singular presses?
We'll first get its current position, so you can do.
Oh, I've got to put ends there. Okay, all right, cool.
This node instance and do get.
So if statements need ends. Okay, brilliant.
All of these functions and tables that you can use in Lua script, and you're not going to be happy about where I'm going to direct you. We'll get there. Hold on. So we're going to get the world position, and then we're going to add to it. We're going to add.
So we're just writing local variable and updating that, and then setting it back.
Delta time.
It's weird.
So smooth. And then finally, you want to set the world position. Okay, I think that is good.
Set
let's see if I screw
world
the script up. So
position.
we're going to go over to
new
the editor.
pause.
Let's go to our bird.
Yeah, okay, so that's how he's done it. Strange, but
node.
Hope it works.
And then in the script tab, you're going to type bird.lua. Okay, so it was able to load the script. You want to save it.
All right, brilliant. Let's make sure it's working in the editor then. I'm going to make this teeny weeny so that we can look back at the game itself. Wonderful. Okay, actually, is there a smarter way I could do this? I know what I'll do. I'm going to give it a Luma key. There we are. Max. Okay, brilliant. There we are. Now, doesn't that look sci-fi? We've got the code right there in the editor now in OBS. Wonderful. Ah. Fantastic. Alright, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I gotta go back into the editor and apply the scripts to the bird. So I'm assuming he's gonna tell me to go to the actual
And now let's go back
bird
to
scene.
the SC default scene.
Okay, brilliant. SC bird. Okay, bird. And there's gotta be a script somewhere here. Script. And bird.lua. Failed to create script instance for Lua. It is attached to no birds. Class has not been loaded. Right, okay, so I've done something wrong. How did I name it? Okay, it's bird with a lowercase. Let's see if that changes it. Couldn't load script file bird, Lua error. Alright, so what have I done wrong here? Does it need to be in the same folder? Okay, you just type it here. There's no button like with the textures and the other thing. Alright. Come on, save this, please. If I go here, is that where I'm supposed to do it? I think that's all correct. Okay, birds.lua. Okay, it doesn't seem to pop up anything here. Asset saved. Failed the scripts bird.lua. Let's try again. Okay, copy and pasting works, that's good. Is there anything else I missed? Let's try looking back through the tutorial again real quick.
Click on the root node, and then in the script tab, you're going to type bird.lua. Okay, so
What's parent script class table? It's a native nose table. Long script word. Okay. I'm going to double check that I've done this all correctly in the actual code. Bird.lua. Okay, that's in the scripts folder. Bird.lua, bird.lua. Does it have to be a capital? I guess that's possible. I'm just going to try making it a capital. Can I rename this? All right, rename birds with a capital B. Maybe it's a syntax thing and it doesn't like it when everything's lowercase. Let's try this now. Loading script bird. Lua error. Then expected. Oh, come on, that didn't display for very long. Oh, there's if then. All right, yeah. I missed one little detail here. Okay, yeah. I'm not used to Lua, so I did briefly see that thing. Is there a way to view the errors? Because that would be quite useful. I can't read that fast. Wireframe collision or whatever. Let's okay, let's go back here. Lua, and let's paste it again. And now it's not doing anything. Okay, root script. Create instance bird.lua. It attaches to nose bird. Oh, I did not have enough time to read that. Oh my god. All right. I gotta give feedback. Errors display only briefly. Not enough time to read them. That would be a good thing to know. I'm gonna name the example. Is there a timestamp I could give him? Okay, 48:30. So yeah, we got, let's say 47. I'm importing script for first time. All right, hopefully I can figure this out. Bird.lua, fantastic. It's in the script. Can we double check, make sure it's is there a way we can double check to make sure it's actually appearing in here? Yeah, okay, single click for going through folders. That's quite something. Tools, pipe. I don't see the scripts folder anywhere. Do I need to reopen it? Yeah, let's just open it again. Models, textures, I see bird. Okay, open scene. So we got a bird. The mesh has lost its texture. Why? Oh my gosh, no. Properties. Animation lookup. Embed. Texture T white. Okay, so if I go here, I can do that right. Okay, yeah, brilliant. Save. All right, brilliant. Okay, we're back up to speed on that part. What about SE default? Okay, that's all correct. Good. It's just the texture that wasn't saved. So yeah. Control S should save everything. I think that'll be better, or there should be a or global save press button, or else easy to lose work. So yeah, when you're just one guy working on the games engine, you know, or some software or anything, there's going to be oversights. So it's good to have a second pair of eyes looking at these things. All right, let's see. I'm gonna look back over my code. So bird equal curly brackets function creates colon bird regular brackets. Does there need to be white space there? I don't think so. I would assume not. This is a bunch of spaces. Is that how it works? A tab is just a bunch of spaces. Weird. All right, minus 50, 30, end. Function. All the functions have ends. That's good. Bird stop. Okay, I may need to ask for help on this one. I'll take a little screenshot. I'll keep going with the tutorial until then, but I think that might be trouble. I might try importing the pipe or something. All right, let's. I'm just gonna try the script one more time. birds.lure. Okay, quick. Take a screenshot. Quick, 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 quick. Oh, okay. Okay, take a screenshot of this error. Okay. Lure error, birds, lure 36, syntax error, near birds. Alright. Okay, I got some more details. Lure error, line 36. Function. Alright. There's one mistake at the bottom there. I wrote funk instead of function. Yeah, in Godot, they're technically called methods, but I guess meth just wasn't a very good choice word. So they stuck with funk for functions. Just call it functions, Godot, honestly. Like, everyone knows what a function is. We're gonna make it different just to be awkward. Alright, failed to create script instance by .lua. It is attached to node mesh. Class has not been loaded. Alright, did I accidentally attach it to mesh for some reason? Okay, that's weird. Okay, yeah, so I was supposed to attach. I wasn't supposed to attach it to mesh, I was supposed to attach it to this. Okay. Okay, brilliant. So if I go back and pop it out here. No, okay, brilliant. I figured it out on my own. Fantastic. All right. Alternative bird to scene. Yeah, I mean that all of that could have been all that headache could have been avoided if I could just have enough time to read the error. So fantastic. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, on little press. As we briefly, not enough time to read them. Allow for display for longer. Yeah, you can have it pop up and then it kind of scrolls up into the top there. And then there's like a little button that says show errors. And then you can toggle it. And then when you stop reading the errors, I don't know, I think it's probably best to just have it as a toggle. Because it's nice for something to kind of hide itself sometimes. But if you actually need to use it, it's actually annoying when it hides itself. So giving the user more control over the UI is a good idea. Ah, some tasty water. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. We can keep going now. Fantastic. All right.
Okay. I think that is good. Let's see if I screw the script up. So you're going to go over to the editor. Okay, so it was able to load the script.
Brilliant.
You want to save it. And now let's go back over to the SC default scene. So Octave has the ability to play an editor. You can either do it by hitting the play button up here, or you can hit Alt-P. So I guess I'll hit the play button up here.
Alt-P. I'm never going to remember that. I'm just going to remember play.
Hey, it's kind of working. So the bird falls down, and when you click...
Bad argument number one, get world position. Alright, I did something wrong.
To exit plane editor.
Alright, I'm gonna... Okay, get world position. Okay, I did something wrong. Let's go back to the script and double check. World position, world position, world position. Get world position. Let's go back in here. Get world position. Get world position. Yeah, again, I didn't really have time to read that error. Set world position. New pause. Okay. I need to go a bit ahead in the tutorial. Self set world position. New pause. Okay, that seems all correct. Self.velocity multiplied by delta time. Alright, that's cool. Self set world position. Maybe the white space was the issue. Let's give it another go. Okay, will it refresh it now? I hope so. Get world position. User data expected got no value. Get alright. Get world position. Okay, new pause equals self colon. Oh, I put dot instead of a colon. Alright, brilliant. Okay, got it. I play it now. No. Okay, I've saved it. So how do I make sure that it's loaded in the actual editor? You know, I think I've had fairly realistic expectations for like a games engine made by one person. And yeah, it's not bad for what it is. So I'm quite impressed. So let's see. So I go back to the bird. Oh, changes. Inheritance chains used for same script. Okay, have I done something wrong? Script. Now, why does mesh have that script thing loaded? That doesn't seem correct. Okay, now I go back to bird. Okay, that's fine. I thought I fixed that a little while ago. Lower error, bird level 30, bad argument number 1 to get world position, use data expecting the coding value. So same as before. Alright. I was hoping it would just work, but okay, 30, line 30, so yeah. Let me double check. Local new pos equal self colon get world position. Bad argument 1. Okay, has the syntax changed? I'm gonna try changing this and putting self in the brackets and try that. See if that fixes it. Alright, go back to birds, double check everything. Okay, cool. See default. And let's hit play. Use the expected, got no value. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's doing much good, so I'm gonna try reopening the project again. And for some reason the texture again is just gone. Weird. When I just said it not long ago. Okay, properties. Okay. Texture. Save. Alright, that's strange. Very strange indeed. Okay. So it looks like they're color coded. So material is like this. Is it yellow or green? I'm not sure, but it's a bright color. And then the texture, which is bird. Brilliant. Okay. Let's give it a go. Okay, still the same error as before. Alright. Oh dear. Let me again double check. New pos equal new pos plus self velocity multiplied by delta time, self colon set world position. So yeah. Local, so that's for local variable. So that's just a temporary thing you hold. I would assume new pos equals self get world position. Is there anything that could be causing the problem that I'm not aware of here? Because surely it would give me a different error if it was something else in this code. Self.velocity.y plus self.gravity multiplied by delta time. Okay, fantastic. Huh, okay. Strange. Lower error. Okay, I'm going to take a screenshot of this and see what happens. Lower error. Get world position. Okay. Okay. During the Flappy Bird tutorial, ran into this error. Didn't know how to fix. Didn't know how to fix. Script integrated correctly. That seems to expect. Yeah, because in hindsight, you know, this tutorial is like a year old, so has the syntax for anything changed? Has any of the functions changed? Get world position. Let me just double check this one more time. Capital G. Get world position. Position, okay. Self colon new pos, okay. So lure error bird.lure 30 bad arguments number 1 to get world position use data expected got no value. The thing is I did give it a value before. Okay, so let me just look this up actually, see if I can find out. I'm not sure if this is octave related or lure related. Let's see. Okay, Lua get world position, because this might be related to Octave and not Lua. I'm not sure. So I'm approaching this from a layman's perspective. Get world position. I'm just getting like stuff about don't starve together. Game script, right? Yeah. It's a bit of a pain, it is. So yeah, so far so good. But yeah, first hurdle had some issues. Is there something I can do actually, just to kind of pass the time, I guess? While I mean, not really. I kind of need to get the world position in order to set the world position. Right, self get world position. Okay, let's see. Self dot velocity equals vec, and then it's brackets. So that's setting it to a vector or something. Self gravity, self velocity dot y. Oh, that looks good to me. Yeah, tricky. Okay, it would be nice if I got real-time updates, but looks like the community is it's pretty niche. There's only so much you can really get. But yeah, it's you just gotta have realistic expectations, be a bit patient. So okay, well it's good that the input seems to be fine though. How about I just like comment this out and try doing something a little different, huh? So it doesn't like this. All right, you gotta do double brackets as well, huh? Because I thought it said for double lines, Lua commenting. Okay. Is it because there's a space? All right, yeah, it's pedantic about spaces. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just make it go into a different position. Okay, if possible. Actually, but that's the thing. Okay, self. Let me just try settings. World position equals new position get world position. So this is going to be a vector 3, but I don't know how a vector 3 really works in Lua. So okay, set a vector to 3 in Lua. Is there a way to do that? Because I don't think Octave has any documentation. To set a vector 3 in Lua, use the construct vector3.new xyz. Okay, all right. I'm just gonna. The machine has given me a dubious response. Let's see. New, and we'll set it to -1, -1, -1, and hopefully that'll be something. Save. Okay, let's give it a play. Okay, now it's just straight up ignoring that I've updated the code. Come on. Alright, I saved the code. scbird. Okay, there's the script. If I can't figure this out in like the next 10 minutes, then I think I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Just drop the feedback, and hopefully maybe come back to it later. We'll have to see. I might stream the rest of the process just for the sake of consistency. That would be cool. But yeah, it's just really stress testing this game engine. That would be cool. Yeah, it would be nice to know if like the script was being reloaded as well, some kind of feedback for is the script being reloaded? Because I've commented out stuff and it's still acting like the code is still there. So I'm a little bit not so cool about that. Is the code being reloaded when I hit Control plus S in Visual Studio Code. That would be good to know. But yeah, using an external code editor, it's not too bad, to be honest. As much as I like Cadoot, the code editor in there isn't the greatest. So I might. So now that I've kind of got comfortable with it, I might switch to using an external editor. It's just a little bit smoother, the experience. I don't know why Godot's code editor is so bad. I mean, it's okay, but for some reason it's just laggy sometimes. Like you close one code and it's just, then there's a lag spike, and then it's a bunch of code. It should be just in the blink of an eye. No other software, even with the terrible highs they have for these code selling softwares, it just works, generally speaking. Bird.lua, and it's in the scripts folder, like the guy suggested it would be. So yeah, I can't chance to look at the scripts folder here, can I? Alright, I'm gonna try disconnecting the script and then reattaching it. Save. Asset saved, then put it back in, save. Alright. Weird, okay. It didn't give me a prompt suggesting that the script has been added, though. That's the problem. What about mesh? Okay, that's cool. That's fine. Okay, like I'm typing it in, but I don't see the thing in the top left where it's like, okay, script added. Yeah, something's wrong with attaching scripts, unfortunately. So it's a pretty major problem for trying to make a game, but yeah, I don't know. It's been pretty cool so far. I quite like a lot of the stuff going on here, but yeah, I ran into a bit of a problem, so may have to come back to this a bit later. Maybe I'll do a stream, maybe I won't. It really depends how things go, how I feel. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up here because it's been a little while. Did anyone show up? Nah. It's not the most interesting stream, to be fair, so I'm just kind of doing stuff. All right, let's wrap this up now, and I'll be off. Where's OBS?